Friends, text 29. Lord Kapila continued, My dear mother, it is sometimes said that we experience hell or heaven on this planet, for hellish punishments are sometimes visible on this planet also. Sometimes unbelievers do not accept these statements of scripture regarding hell. Lord Kapila therefore confirms that by saying that these hellish conditions are also visible on this planet. It is not that there are only on the planet where Yamaraj lives. On the planet of Yamaraj, the sinful man is given chance to practice living in hellish conditions that he will have to endure in the next life. Then he is given a chance to take birth on another planet to continue his hellish life. For example, if a man is punished to remain in hell and eat stool and urine, then first of all, he practices such habits on the planet of Yamaraj. Then he is given a particular type of body, that of a hawk, so that he is told that he is enjoying life. It is stated that in any hellish condition, the conditioned soul thinks he is happy. Otherwise, it will not be possible for him to suffer the hellish life. The Lord Kapila continued, My dear mother, it is sometimes said that we experience hell or heaven on this planet, for hellish punishments are sometimes visible on this planet also. Friends, now we go to the text 30. After leaving this body, the man who maintained himself and his family members by sinful activities suffers a hellish life, and his relatives all suffer also. The mistake of modern civilization is that that man does not believe in the next life. But when he believes or not, the next life is there. And one has to suffer. If one does not lead a responsible life in terms of injunctions of authoritative scriptures like the Vedas and Puranas, species lower than human beings are not responsible for their actions because they are made to act in a certain way. But in a developed life of human consciousness, one who does not act responsibly is sure to get a hellish life as described here. 31, text 31, he goes alone to the darkest region on hell after quitting the present body, and money he acquired by envying other living entities is the passage money which he leaves in this world. When a man earns money by unfair means and maintains his family and himself with that money, the money is enjoyed by many members of the family. But he alone goes to hell and suffers the resultant sinful reactions accrues from such a violent and illicit life. For example, if a man secures money by killing someone and with that money maintains his family, those who enjoy the black money earned by him are also partially responsible and also sent to hell. But who is the leader is specially punished. The money he earned is left in the world and he takes on only the sinful reaction. This would also, if a person requires some money by murdering someone, the family is not hanged, although its members are sinfully contaminated, but the man who commits the murder and maintains his family is himself hanged as murderer. The direct offender is more responsible for sinful activities than the indirect enjoyer. The great learned scholar Chanakya Pandit says, therefore, that whatever one has in his possession is better to be spent for the cause of Sat or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because one cannot take his possession with him. They remain here and they will be lost. Either we will leave the money or the money will leave us, but we will be separated. The best of use of money, as long as it's there within our possession, is to acquire and propagate Krishna consciousness. Text 32. Thus, by the arrangement of Supreme Personality of Godhead, the maintainer of kinsman is put into hellish condition to suffer for his sinful activities, like a man who has lost his wealth. Purport: the example set here is that sinful person suffers just like a man who has lost his wealth. The human form of body is achieved by conditioned soul after many births and is a very valuable asset. Instead of utilizing this life to get liberation, if one uses it simply for the purpose of maintaining so-called family and therefore perform foolish and unauthorized action, he is compared to a man who has lost his wealth and who upon losing it laments. When wealth is lost, there is no use lamenting, but as long as there is wealth, one has to utilize it properly and thereby gain eternal profit. It may be argued that when a man leaves his money earned by sinful activities, he also leaves his sinful activities here with his money. It is specially mentioned here that by superior arrangement, although the man lives behind his sinfully earned money, he carries the effect of it. When a man steals money, if he is caught and agrees to return it, he is not free from criminal punishment. By the law of state, even though he returns the money, he has to undergo the punishment. Similarly, the money earned by criminal process may be left by the man when dying, but by superior arrangement, he carries the effect with him, the effect, and therefore he has to suffer hellish life. Text 33. Therefore, a person who is very eager to maintain his family and kinsmen simply by black methods certainly goes to the darkest region of hell, which is known as Andharatamsasara. Purport: three words in this verse are very significant. Keval Ana means the only by black methods, Adharma means unrighteous or unreligious, and Kutumb Bharne means family maintenance. Maintaining one family is certainly the duty of householder. One should be eager to earn his livelihood by prescribed method as stated in the scriptures in the Bhagavad Gita. It is described that the Lord has divided the social symptom into four classifications of caste or varnas according to quality and work. Apart from Bhagavad Gita, in every society, a man is known according to the quality and work. For example, when a man earns his livelihood constructing wooden furniture, he is called a carpenter, and a man who works with an anvil and iron is called a blacksmith. Similarly, a man who is engaged in medical or engineering field has a particular duty and designation. All these human activities have been divided in the Supreme Lord into four varnas, namely Brahmanas, intellectuals and priests, Kshatriyas, warriors and administrators, the Vaishyas, merchants and farmers, and Shudras, manual laborers. In Bhagavad Gita and other Vedic scriptures, the specific duties of the Brahmana, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras are mentioned. One should work honestly according to his qualification. He should not earn his livelihood unfairly in a way for which he is not qualified. If someone claims to be a Brahmana and works as a priest, attracting people who expect to be enlightened about a spiritual way of life, but is not qualified as a priest, then he is cheating the public. One should not earn one's livelihood by such unfair means. The same is applicable to Kshatriya and Vaishya. Especially maintain the means of livelihood of those who are trying to advance in Krishna consciousness must be very fair and uncomplicated. Here it is mentioned that those who earn their livelihood by unfair means, Kevalan is sent to the darkest hellish region. Otherwise, if one maintains his family by prescribed method and honest means, there is no objection of one being a family man. Text 13.4. Having gone through all the miserable hellish conditions and having passed in a regular order through lowest form of animal life prior to human birth, and having thus been purged to one sin, one is reborn as a human being on this earth. Purport: just as a prisoner who has undergone troublesome prison life is set free again, the person who has always engaged in impious and mischievous activities is put into hellish conditions, and when he has undergone different hellish lives, namely those of lower species like cat, dogs and hogs, by a gradual process of evolution, he again comes back as human being. In Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that even though a person engaged in practice of yoga system may not finish perfectly and may fall down for some reason or other, his next life as human being is guaranteed. It is stated that such a person who has fallen from the path of yogic practice is given chance in his next life to take birth in a very rich family or in a very pious family. Interpreted, a rich family refers to a big mercantile family because generally people who engage in business are very rich. One who is engaged in the process of self-realization or connecting with the absolute, supreme absolute truth, but fell short, is allowed to take birth in such a rich family or is allowed to take birth in the family of pious Brahmana. Either way, he is guaranteed to appear in human society in next life. It can be concluded that if someone is not willing to enter into hellish life as in Tamsira or Andha Tamsira, then he must take to the process of Krishna consciousness, which is first class yoga system, because even if one is unable to attain complete Krishna consciousness in his life, he is guaranteed at least to take his next birth in a human family. He cannot be sent into hellish condition. Krishna consciousness is the purest life and protects all human beings from gliding down to hell and take birth as family of dogs or hogs. Thank you so much.